Hare Krishna. Want to make a video today. I'm going to call the video, Can Srila Prabhupada still initiate? Can Srila Prabhupada still give Diksha? Can Srila Prabhupada still give initiation? So before I give the quotes and the references, I'll answer the title of this video straight away by saying yes, of course Prabhupada can give Diksha. And anybody who thinks Prabhupada can't give Diksha is contaminated by Vapuvad philosophy. Now, anybody who doesn't know what that terminology means, Vapuvad. Vapu means like the physical presence. Vani is the opposite. That means, not the opposite, but Vani means the instruction of the spiritual master. And Vapu means the physical form. So Vapuvadi is those who hold the philosophy that to get initiation from a guru, you need the guru to be physically present. The guru has to be physically present. That's what the Vapuvadis believe. So this is completely bogus philosophy, which I'll gradually expose in this video. But let's start off by talking, if you're going to talk about can Prabhupada still give Diksha, can he still give initiation, we need to sort of define what is Diksha. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Lila 15.108, Prabhupada says, Diksha is the process by which one can awaken his transcendental knowledge and vanquish all reactions caused by sinful activity. A person expert in the study of the revealed scriptures knows this process as Diksha. Then Prabhupada, in another place, CC Madhya Lila 4.111, 4th chapter, 111th verse. Diksha actually means initiating a disciple with transcendental knowledge by which he becomes free or freed from all material contamination. And then another quote here. It is a spiritual master who delivers this disciple from the clutches of Maya by initiating him into the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, a sleeping human being can revive his consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In other words, the spiritual master awakens the sleeping living entity to his original consciousness so that he can worship Lord Vishnu. This is the purpose of Diksha, or initiation. Initiation means receiving the pure knowledge of spiritual consciousness. So in all these quotes here which I've just read, we see that Diksha it's not some formal ceremony where one just receives the name, he gets a change of name, and he gets given the Hare Krishna mantra in a formal ceremony. Diksha is a process by which one can awaken transcendental knowledge and vanquish the reactions caused by sinful activity. And then in the next one it says, Diksha actually means initiating a disciple with transcendental knowledge by which he becomes free from all material contamination. So our material contamination has been caused by our sinful activity. So Diksha is the process of cleansing this material contamination, freeing us from this contamination, which basically is that we identify ourselves with this body and the mind. We are fully absorbed in that I am this physical body and I am this subtle physical mind. This is the contamination. So Diksha is a process by which one, the spiritual master transmits knowledge to the disciple. There's a process of how he does that. We'll talk about that later, but there's a process, and the spiritual master, which is Srila Prabhupada, he transmits knowledge to the disciple, and that knowledge vanquishes the material contamination and brings him back to his original position so he can worship Lord Vishnu. This is the process of Diksha. So the question is, can Prabhupada give Diksha? Can Prabhupada, now he's physically not present, can he actually give this transcendental knowledge which will vanquish this material contamination caused by our sinful activity? Can he do that? First of all, I'd ask anybody, can anybody give an argument to say that he can't? Let me hear anybody's argument. Give me anybody out there. Reply to this video in the comments or make a counteraction video. You make a video and show to me, prove to me that Srila Prabhupada can't transmit transcendental knowledge to anybody. And if you can prove that, then you can prove that he can't give us Diksha. He cannot free us from this material contamination. He cannot bring us back to our original position to worship Krishna or Vishnu. So can anybody out there, is there anybody out there who can prove that Prabhupada can transmit transcendental knowledge to us? Is there anybody can do that? No, there isn't. Because to say it would be ludicrous, foolish, offensive, rascaldom. Of course, Prabhupada can transmit transcendental knowledge to us. And that transmission of transcendental knowledge is Diksha. There is no necessity of Prabhupada being physically present. Prabhupada said, his Guru Maharaj said, try to... I'll read you the quote. Let me get you the quote. I'll pause the video while I find it. Don't like to keep you waiting. So here's the quote. My Guru Maharaj used to say, don't try to see a saintly person by your eyes. You see a saintly person by the ear. Because if you hear from the saintly person, and if he is speaking from the experience which he has heard from another saintly person, this is called Guru Parampara, then the knowledge is perfect. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:142, Los Angeles, 8th of June 1976. So this is Parampara. Parampara is that you don't try to see the saintly person with your eyes, you try to see the saintly person with your ears, and you try to hear from him. This is the process of disciplic succession, Prabhupada said. He said, because if you hear from the saintly person, and if he is speaking from the experience which he has heard from another saintly person, this is called Guru Parampara. So Guru Parampara, these ISKCON devotees, they like to so much stress that, oh, if you say you can go directly to Srila Prabhupada, then this is contrary to the disciplic succession. You are going against the Vaishnava tradition. The Vaishnava tradition of of licking up the physical body of the physically manifest Guru. You are going against this tradition. Well, you got the wrong idea of this tradition. The tradition is a tradition of oral reception, of hearing, just like in the beginning. Krishna, Brahma never saw Krishna. Did Brahma see Krishna? I think when Lord Brahma got initiated by Krishna, he didn't see Krishna. He got initiated in the heart. He didn't see. Originally, he didn't see. Gradually, when he became purified, then he saw. So the whole process is a process of hearing. It's a process of hearing, not of seeing with the physical eyes. And Prabhupada, if Prabhupada's not physically present, does that mean Prabhupada has to be physically present to transmit knowledge? That's nonsense. Even when Prabhupada was physically present, most of the people who he formally gave them the initiation, because in initiation, the real initiation is in the heart. The real initiation is to hear. The real initiation is to get the process from the Guru and follow the instruction and become purified of the material contamination. But part of that is also to formalize it, just like when you enter into some college, some university to get knowledge. The process is that you're going into the university to get knowledge. That is the business. The business is to get knowledge. But there may be a formal ceremony when you enter into the university. Oh, come on, Mr. Jones, come into the university and we'll perform an official ceremony that you have now entered the university. But that sadly means nothing. Like Prabhupada said, if you have understood this philosophy of Krishna consciousness and decided to preach it, that is your initiation. My touch is a formality. The touch is a formality. So the formal ceremony, that is simply a formality. But the real business of initiation is to hear. And many disciples who Prabhupada formally initiated when he was physically present, they hardly ever saw Prabhupada. They were not sitting daily and listening to Prabhupada and seeing him and taking that physical association. There was only a select few. Generally, the few who did take the physical were the offenders, were the envious, were the rascals. Because it said that if you come too close to a spiritual master, familiarity breeds contempt. I think Chanakya Pandit says something like, if a fire, if you come too close, you get burned. If you go too far away, you don't derive the benefit of the heat. You have to find the medium position. And it's same with the spiritual master. Same, I think you gave the example of a king as well. If you come too close to a king, you might offend him. He'll chop your head off. You're too far away. You don't get the benefit. I forget the example of the king, but definitely the fire. The fire too close, you get burned. Too far, you don't derive the benefit of the heat. And medium, the medium point. So the medium point for us is to hear. We hear from Prabhupada. That is a perfect medium point where we get the benefit. Too close to the physical, we become contemptuous. We start to see with our material vision, and we see Prabhupada with our material vision and find fault. That's what happens. That's what happened to the ones who were too physically close to Prabhupada. They became envious. They started to fault find. There's so many examples, like Kirtanananda when he was massaging Prabhupada in Vrindavan. He thought that Prabhupada needed his massage. Prabhupada even said that in the letter, didn't he? That Prabhupada said, Kirtanananda thinks I'm dependent on him. So this is the disease of becoming too close to the Guru in this physical sense. So the point I was trying to raise was that there were many people who took this physical formal initiation from Prabhupada when he was physically present. They didn't spend hardly any time with him. They were busily engaged in their duties. They were chanting their 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, and engaged in preaching in various capacities. So that was their initiation. They were not seeing Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, the Bhaktivinoda says, the Vaishnavas died to live in sound, and while living in sound, then they spread the holy name around. So whatever Prabhupada did when he was physically present, that will expand when the Vaishnavas die to live in sound. So Prabhupada's now living in sound. And when he's living in sound, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, then he spreads the holy name. So Prabhupada's going to spread the holy name in sound. And that's what his books are. That's what his books are. Prabhupada says, listen, this is a very interesting quote. You'll like these quotes. Listen to this quote. I'll just pause it again so you're not waiting. Okay, so this is a very nice quote. Listen to this. Regarding Sankirtan and book distribution is also chanting. Anyone who reads the books, that is also chanting and hearing. Why distinguish between chanting and book distribution? These books I have recorded and chanted, and they are transcribed. It is spoken kirtans. So book distribution is also chanting. These are not ordinary books. It is recorded chanting. Anyone who reads, he is hearing. Book distribution must not be neglected. Srila Prabhupada letter to Rupanuga. So when Prabhupada's books are they're his chanting, his ecstasies. You get your mantra from some contaminated, envious Jewish servant, guru, some shill guru for the Jews, or you get it directly from a Jew himself posing as a guru. That's not transcendental. That's not receiving a mantra in disciplic succession. And when you read Srila Prabhupada's books and you get the Hare Krishna mantra from Srila Prabhupada from his books, this is Prabhupada's transcendental ecstasies. His books are his transcendental ecstasies. But the point is, let's stick to the point. The point is that when a person gets Prabhupada's book, they're hearing his kirtan. Prabhupada said, it is spoken kirtans. These books I have recorded and chanted, and they are transcribed. It is spoken kirtans. So Prabhupada's books are kirtans, spoken kirtans. Now let's go on to another interesting quote. When a devotee is perfectly qualified in chanting the transcendental vibration of the holy name, he is quite fit to become a spiritual master and to deliver all the people of the world. The chanting of the holy name is so powerful that it gradually establishes its supremacy above everything in the world. The devotee who chants it becomes transcendentally situated in ecstasy and sometimes laughs, cries and dances in his ecstasy. Sometimes the unintelligent, and we know who they are, sometimes the unintelligent put hindrances in the path of chanting this Maha Mantra. But one who is situated on the platform of love of Godhead chants the holy name loudly for all concerned. As a result, everyone becomes initiated into the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Prabhupada, who is situated on the platform of love of Godhead, he is chanting loudly through his master. Why do we call book distribution Brihat Madanga? It's the loud chanting. Our chanting, we can go in some village and chant, and a few people can hear, but Prabhupada's books is called Brihat Madanga, the big Madanga. So when Prabhupada's books are being distributed, this is his chanting of the holy names. And when people hear this holy name, Prabhupada said, what is the result? He says, one who is situated on the platform of love of Godhead, which is Srila Prabhupada, he chants the holy name loudly. That's his books, his original books, for all concerned. As a result, everyone becomes initiated into the chanting of the holy names. Very clear. Prabhupada said this in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 18. So Prabhupada is just saying it here. He's saying that when you distribute my books, you are initiating people. All the people of the world are getting Prabhupada's original books. That's his chanting. When they hear that chanting, then what is the result? They all become initiated into the chanting of the holy name. And in the books, Prabhupada tells them, if you want to improve this chanting of the holy name, you have to follow the 4 regulated principles, so that you can chant purely and come gradually through the Diksha process back to your original position to worship the Lord. That is the process of Diksha, which Prabhupada is giving. No bogus, rascal, contaminated person, who Prabhupada also mentions in this little quote here, when Prabhupada is saying that, he said, the chanting of the holy name is so powerful that it gradually establishes its supremacy over everything in the world. Devotee who chants it becomes transcendentally situated in ecstasy, and sometimes laughs, cries, and dances in ecstasy. And here's a little reference to the ISKCON bogus gurus, who are the representatives of the Jew world order, the envious people who want to stop all forms of God consciousness. It says, Prabhupada says here, sometimes the unintelligent put hindrances in the path of chanting this Maha Mantra. Prabhupada's chanting, they put hindrances. How do they put hindrances? They change the books. They try to change the books. When they change the books, that's how they put hindrances. Or they put hindrances in putting restrictions on devotees going out there and distributing them. But the main hindrance is to change the books. Once you change the books, then the knowledge becomes lost. The books are transcendental. And when you change it, Prabhupada said, you introduce time. The minute you change transcendental knowledge, you introduce kala. Kala means time. When you introduce time, then the knowledge becomes lost. And that brings me then very nicely to the point of, when the knowledge is lost, that's when Krishna sends his representative to re-establish it. These rascal people in ISKCON say, oh, the parampara, you're going against the parampara. We have to have the disciplic succession. This ritvik system is going against the parampara. We always have the parampara. Well, yeah, okay, when you want to know what parampara is. Parampara here is all explained in the 4th chapter, isn't it, parampara? Bhagavad Gita 4.2. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, as it is, appears to be lost. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jagat Guru. Purport. It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings, because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. That's coming, yeah, after the nuclear war. We're going to have the saintly kings, yeah, under Prabhupada the Emperor, and they're going to be ruling with the Bhagavad Gita. That's coming, folks. So, where was I now? Oh, yeah, certainly Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac persons. Right, yeah, in ISKCON. It's not meant for you dudes. Definitely not. So it says, certainly Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac persons who would dissipate its value for one's benefit and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. Mr. Jai Israel, Prabhupada's talking about you here, boy. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, Mr. Israel, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment also, there are so many editions of the Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. This spirit is demoniac. Because the demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme, since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity, but if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time. Okay. So, the point of this is that the disciplic succession, the principle of it is when the knowledge is lost, then there's a need to re-establish. So it's not just when Prabhupada physically departed, that then, okay, Prabhupada's gone, he's physically gone, now we need another guru. No, that's not disciplic succession. That's your Vapuvadi, Mayavadi contamination. When the how is the disciplic succession functioning? It's saying here in the Bhagavad Gita, when the knowledge is lost, then there is a need to re-establish it. So is there anyone, this is my second challenge. I started off with a challenge. This is my second challenge. Can anyone out there, you make your video, my friends, make your video and explain to me, has Prabhupada's knowledge become lost? Has it become lost, that Prabhupada's knowledge, his original Bhagavad Gita, the 1972 Macmillan Gita, is that lost? Is that lost? If it's lost, then we can start to talk about the need for the Lord to send a successor to re-establish the knowledge. Now, I don't think anyone can establish that Prabhupada's Gita, original 1972 Macmillan Gita, is lost to the world. And if it's not lost, then why are we talking about a successor? It's an irrelevant subject, completely irrelevant. Don't even bring it up. First you prove that Prabhupada's Gita is lost to the world, and then bring this up about a successor. Then we'll look into successor and who it is and who's qualified and who's the one who's going to re-establish the disciplic succession. Yeah, then we'll talk about that. But until then, zip it up. Don't talk about it. So yeah, this is pretty clear. I think I've made the points very clear. There was quite a few things in this that I wanted to go off onto a tangent, but I wanted to keep the reading going. I'll just pause it here for a moment. So yeah, this is the reason these demons like Jayadwaita and the rest of the corrupt leaders of ISKCON are changing Prabhupada's books. They're not stupid. Demons are not stupid. They're very clever, very intelligent on the material level. Especially they're very intelligent how to check the spread of Krishna consciousness and the spread of love of Godhead. That's their number one purpose in life, to banish all forms of God consciousness and check any genuine spirituality. So that's the reason they're changing Prabhupada's books. They're changing Prabhupada's books to make the knowledge lost. But Prabhupada has assured us that the temples may not remain. I think it was a letter to Hansaduda, Haribol Hansaduda Prabhu. Letter to Hansaduda, he said, I think Prabhupada said, the temples may not remain, but the books will remain. The temples may be lost, but the books will remain. So Prabhupada knew these temples would be taken over by envious demons. He already said it. There are many jealous persons in the dress of Vaishnavas in this Krishna conscious movement. And he wanted us to, get the Kshatriya spirit going, get a little fire in our belly and fight against these people. But no, we were all wimps, I guess. And they took over. So Prabhupada foresaw that they'd take over and the temples would be lost. Lost doesn't mean lost physically, they'll sink into the ground, they'll vanish, they'll disappear. No, they'll be lost, they'll be no longer within the disciplic succession. There'll be mundane institutions, mundane buildings, bricks and mortar, useless for all spiritual purposes. But he knew the books would remain. So the demons will not be able to check the books. They'll not be able to check the books and stop the books. The books will remain. Prabhupada said the books will remain. Do you get that? Prabhupada's a pure devotee. What he says is fact. It goes. It doesn't get checked. Because Prabhupada's powerful. The books will remain. Get it, demons. You ain't going to check Prabhupada. So the books will remain. The disciplic succession remains. And Prabhupada remains the initiator and acharya. And anyone reading those books is hearing his ecstasies. He's hearing the holy name chanted by Prabhupada. He's been initiated and he's going back to Godhead. Bas.